Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and today we are going to do a layout that focuses on another aspect of Radiator Springs, and it's mainly for the area for the Cozy Cone Motel. If you're familiar with the Radiator Springs area and the way they have it all laid out and stuff, they have these ginormous traffic cones that they have turned into like A-frame little teepee kind of places for the cars to spend the night. So it's very cute, and they have that kind of set up in Disney World, and they actually have these cozy cones. Each little one is a different snack place, like eatery, where you can go and get churros or whatever you fancy. And so that part is kind of cool. And anyway, I just thought it would be fun to kind of tailor our layout to that. And so let's check out my workspace and we'll get right to it. Okay, so this is my workspace for today, and you might have noticed we have some orange out. Well, yes, that's because of the cozy cones, which I mentioned in the last video that I put out for you, so that you would be a little bit expecting this. If you've never been to this area of Disneyland, California, or I'm sure they have something similar in Disney Orlando, Disney World out there, but there is the Cozy Cone Motel replicated in, real life, which is kind of fun. They have this little service station right here, which is where Mater actually pulled in. He's a working automobile with eyeballs that move, and he drives through Radiator Springs and talks to people, and it's really, really fun for us grown-ups as well as for the little kids. Anyway, so each of these little cozy cones that you can see in the background here that make up the Cozy Cone Motel are little snack shacks, because when you are getting ready to go on a road trip, what do you need to bring? Snacks. So so this is a really fun, cute little area, set up for snacking mainly, but it was very cute. And I thought in order to do justice to this area, what I really needed to do was create a cozy cone to put these pictures on. So I played around with my paper and my scissors, and I made this cone shape. So this is the shape we're going to use today, and I'm going to talk you through how to make your own pattern. I do suggest you make a pattern first so that you're not messing up your shimmer paper, erasing and trying to make it just right. This is made from a 12 by 12 piece of white paper, and I'm going to scoot it onto my mat so you can actually see measurement wise anything that you are curious about. But I'm going to walk you through how I did it first of all. Okay, so first thing I did was I put a line down the center at the halfway mark. So 6 inches in, I put a line down the center. Next thing I did was mark every 4 inches up that line so that I knew where the third marks were in the paper. Then I made a line an inch below the first 4 inches from the bottom. And I did that because I was initially thinking I wanted the base of this cone to be 4 inches off the bottom, but then I decided that was really too high. Proportions were not quite right, so I lowered it by an inch. And I came up here to the top of the center, and I measured 1 inch in either direction and put a mark. And then what I ended up doing was going roughly 1/4 of an inch further than that. So 1 1/4 inches from the center on either side is where the outside angle starts to go down. All right. And then 1 inch from the center is where this inside little dip area goes from 1 inch to 1 inch, and it's roughly a 1/2 inch deep in the middle. All right, so that will help you create your own there. Then you draw a line from the 1 1/4 from the center mark here. You draw a line straight from there all the way down to the 3 inch mark, or 3 inch line here to make that side. You're going to do the same thing over here. 1 1/4 inches from the center, start there, draw a line straight down to the 3 inch mark. And then I just went about 1/4 inch deep and drew an arc and then cut an arc from where that line stops at 3 inches out to the edge of my paper on both sides. This little scoop at the bottom to round this edge is just about 1/2 inch high and 1/2 inch towards the center on each corner. Okay, and that will give you your fun cone shape. I'm going to cut one of these using a piece of orange shimmer. And once you have your pattern made, you can put your pattern on here and just draw and then cut. Or if you trust yourself enough, you can use, you know, an X-Acto knife or something and go ahead and just cut. Depends on how much you trust yourself. I am just giving myself some guidelines, and then I'm going to come in here with probably my 0 centering ruler and a cutting implement and cut this out. Okay, so there's my lines. And I'm going to set my pattern over here. If you have any questions about this pattern, just put them in the comments. I'll be happy to do what I can to help you. And maybe I can take a picture and put some kind of a link or something. I'm not sure I'm technologically savvy enough to do that, but I'll try to figure out how to do that. Okay, I have this really cool X-Acto cutting blade by Fiskars that I got a long time ago, and it's really designed for cutting out coupons from like a coupon book, but it actually works really well in my paper crafting. So I'm going to use this. So basically I'm going to just line up my 0 centering ruler on the line that I want to cut. I'm going to take my Fiskars cutting implement and I'm just going to run it. It's a rotating blade, so I'm just going to run it right along there. Because it's so small, I can guide it fairly easily, so it makes it very easy to just cut even a rounded edge just like that with this, rather than getting my scissors and cutting it that way. So use whatever's comfortable for you. I just thought I would show you the tool that I have found that is a fun tool for doing something like this with. Sometimes I will even use this, like if I have put my photo on my page so that it overlaps the edge of my page. Sometimes I will use this to cut it because it's just easier than trying to grab my scissors. It's the same principle as using an X-Acto knife though, so if you feel comfortable using an X-Acto knife, then use that. I'm not super comfortable with using an X-Acto knife, so I tend to lean towards other things. All right, so then we can just flip it over so that we don't see our pencil marks, and we are good to go with our cone shape. So really a fairly quick process, so long as you already have the design created. So creating the design does take a minute, but we are going to go ahead and just add this guy on here. But actually, before we do that, I think I'm going to do a couple things to this, and I'm going to add just some, maybe some swags. So we have this new Border Maker cartridge that came, it's called the Dotted Banner cartridge, and this was a gift with purchase. Recently, you had to purchase a certain dollar amount of product, and then you could choose this for free. And so I'm going to use this today, and I'm going to create some swag, some garland for our, whoops, I need my holder. I knew I was missing something. We're going to create some garland for our cone. And if you don't have this one because you missed that special, or you know, you're watching this eons down the road and you're wishing that you had it, if you are an old CM scrapper, or you happen to come across this cartridge, which does pine boughs, this one is also a good one for this type of process, or anything that's going to make some kind of a garland shape would also be good. Okay, and so I'm doing this in green in keeping with the holiday season, because we were there over Christmas, Thanksgiving. Well, we were there over Thanksgiving, but of course everything was decorated for Christmas. And a lot of my layouts in this album don't really reflect that it was Christmas time or Thanksgiving or anything else. So I just thought it would be kind of fun to decorate the Cozy Cone a bit for the holiday. Now you can see that this particular Border Maker cartridge puts a little bit of a bobble, these round sort of bobble shapes on our garland. And I'm going to punch one more just in case, because I get the feeling we're probably going to need one more. But this piece is so small that it's not going to fit into the magnetic arm, so I'm just going to add a couple of pieces of, a couple of post-it notes on, whoops, wrong side, there we go, so that I can go ahead and fit this in there and punch one more from this sheet. There we go. So we're going to decorate this up for Christmas. We're going to do some garland and some fun holiday cheer. And I don't know about you, but I seem to always have a little bit of extra of my Christmas embellishments and things like that left over. So pull those out if you are doing Christmas pages at Disney. If you're not, then just don't worry about this part. You could probably find another way of decorating your cozy cone. But for me, because this is at Christmas time, this is just a fun way of doing it. So let's see how we can best decorate this, I'm thinking probably what I'll do is cut, I'm just going to cut this a tiny bit in between so that we can bend it a little bit easier, because garland is made to do that, right? Right. So we're going to bend it this way as if we had branches on our cozy cone. All right, so we're going to get our repositionable adhesive, a little bit across each one of those so that we can put it on here, and just so that we're not wasting our garland, I think I'm gonna do like that. And of course I could cut this with my scissors. That's not a big deal, and I probably should, because I think I just didn't trim that super well. But I have this handy, so I'm just using it. There we go. Now we could make these kind of crisscross a little bit if we wanted, or we could bring this down like that, and then this one down maybe to there. I think that's what I'll do. Or we could just eliminate that and go this way. Come back like so. Oh, I kind of like the other way. Okay, so I'm just gonna again put just a little tiny bit of a cut in between these so that I can bend them just a little if I need to. And actually, maybe what we'll do is kind of start this one up here. Like so. And this one. Okay, adhesive. Adhesive, adhesive, adhesive. I don't think I'm going to put any on that last one, because I don't think we're going to need it. Yeah, the last two actually. We don't need it. Actually, let's see. Do like that. All right. So maybe I'll use my scissors this time to trim these. And I'm not going to worry about this little bit that's overlapping just a tiny bit. We're going to leave it. All right. Now what we can do on top of that is add just a little bit of embellishment. But we're going to wait until, I'm going to wait until I have my photos on so I know where I want to put the embellishment, because otherwise you may be covering it up, and why would you want to do that? It's gonna, if you have limited numbers of things that you can embellish with, you don't want to add embellishment where no embellishment is needed, right? Because you have a photo there. Alright, I'm going to use some repositionable adhesive on these pointed areas just so that I can kind of get those points a little bit better. And then we'll use the permanent down the side of this, the long straight. Alright. So this guy's going to be centered on the bottom, very bottom edge, because the top edge is even with the top edge. There we go. Just like that. Now I only have 3 photos that need to go on this page, and they are these 3 photos. So I have one of Mater, one of the Cozy Cone Hotel, and then this one is kind of just of a little bit more of the area. You can see Luigi's tire stack that's all decorated with Christmas stuff, and some other shops over here. So let's see how we want to incorporate these with our Cozy Cone so that we can not cover everything up that we just did, right? So maybe these 2 will be our main focus, and I could cut this one down a little bit so it's not as high. And then what could we do? We could move these. We could move these up just a little bit and put this guy, this short one down here, kind of. I think I like that idea. And I also think I want to go ahead and mat one of these. So we're going to trim this one and get some of that area that we don't really care to see. We don't really care whether we see it or not. Up there. This one's going to go down here. I'm going to mat this one right here with Mater because I think that one is the coolest of them all. So I'm just going to go ahead and put him on another piece of this green. And then just going to cut that mat right around that photo. That one needs to be a little smaller. Okay, there we go. And now we can go ahead and just put this on. So I'm going to leave a little bit of the orange showing so that this is not right along the edge of my page. It's a little bit raised up from the bottom of my page, right? See what I mean about us covering up everything that we just did, because we are in order to have the photos, which to me are the more important thing on here, we need to make them more of the focal point rather than the cone. Okay, so we've got, and actually, hang on, I'm going to scoot this over so we can still see Luigi's tires. Alright, so we've got our photos. Now, I have pulled, for the sake of embellishing, I pulled just a couple of things out of my Christmas embellishments. I had these gold stars that are just made with the mini trio punches. The mini trio punch has a cool star shape. That's what this is. And I pulled some of these from the Joy to the World collection. And then also these gems are from the Joy to the World collection. Now, I'm not one for using a lot of gems on my scrapbook pages. I use them more in making cards than I do in making scrapbooks. But I did think it might be fun to go ahead and add some of these, especially these cute little red hearts, on to our garland, so that there is just a little bit of bling associated with the garland that's around our cozy cone. And that will add to our layout as we work our way down the line. Another reason why I didn't want us to add these before we put our photos on, because they would have been too bulky to do. Okay, so we've got a couple of hearts. We've got a few other things on here we could use if we wanted to. Like, for instance, we could put a green heart where the bows come together, or possibly one of the squares. Or we could use a star in that area. Put a star each place that the garland comes together. And there's only a couple places that actually show, so it would not be a lot of stars, just a couple actually. That one would be kind of right there. So I kind of like that because it adds to the visual effect. Oh, we could put one down here too. And that helps guide your eye across. We need something for journaling, so we could probably either journal right here on the orange cone itself, or we could journal in this space up here. I could use this space down here at the base to kind of add these cute little presents in, which might be fun. In fact, I think I like that. So I think what we'll do is we'll pop up the stars with some foam squares, which I had out so that I would not lose them. Here they are. So we'll pop these up, and they're all really near the gems, so that will help give the page a little bit more stability or cushion that way. Because one of my biggest pet peeves about gems is that I feel like they kind of can sometimes put dents in the other page that's facing it. And that may or may not be true depending on how heavy your album is, but I just often don't add them. But they're great for cards, so if you're a card maker, they're fantastic for that, and I will often use them there in that arena. But because we needed just a little something extra here in this particular situation, I think they add something nice to this particular layout. Okay, I'm gonna also put these presents and pop these presents up with some foam squares as well, but I'm going to use these big ones so that I don't go crazy with adding just a ton of foam squares in order to get these up off the cone. And then I'll use one of my white jelly roll pens, which are not necessarily archival quality, so please don't yell and scream. I'm not sure actually how much how archival they are, but when you're writing on black paper, I feel like it's perfect. We could use a silver pen, which I do have I do have a silver pen that is archival quality that I could use to journal up here in this area, or I could just make a title and put here and journal underneath, journal over here, something like that. But at any rate, I believe we are done with our cute little cozy cone. And tomorrow we're going to do Flo's V8. So, or not tomorrow, but the next the next time you see a video, it will be Flo's V8. So I hope that you'll join me for that one too. That one's going to be fun. In the meantime, try this. Play around with it. It's cute. And even if you have someone, I don't know, who's learning to drive, I think this would be kind of a cute backdrop for learning to drive. Or, you know, different things like that. Even riding a bicycle, it could work for, or a motorbike. So anyway, just some ideas. I hope that this has helped inspire you to create your own pages and kind of maybe step out of your comfort zone and create something new. And until next time, I hope you have more creative moments. Have a great day. Bye-bye.